My friends, welcome to the Guitar Show. Erich Andreas, your Guitar Sage here. It is December the 28th, and here we go. Going to answer your questions. We're going to talk about the year in review. We're going to talk about some things that we got going on. Basically, the way we're thinking going forward. Sorry about that. I forgot to turn my laptop off. You get that, Mike? Thank you. And Mike, would you also get my my keyboard? I forgot that as well. Prepared. Very prepared. So friends, this it should be on my desk in the back there. Thank you, bud. So excited to be with you guys today. We are nearing the end of the year here, 2020. Everybody's like, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. You're my man. Everybody's like so relieved, right? Woo! Yeah. 2021 is going to prove to be pretty fun as well, I think. But hey, we got the guitar. We got each other. We're going to be good, okay? Don't let them scare you into anything, okay? All right, a few things I want to just talk about right off the bat, and we can go into more detail if you want, but let me just start off by telling you some things that you guys may want to know about, then we'll get to some questions, okay? So first off, as you guys know, we've been massively curating the Unstoppable Guitar System to where it's at today, which is 1,000 plus videos, because when you purchase UGS, you also get the 365 guitar plan. Can't go into all those details there. If you want to know more about that, go to YourGuitarSage.com/UGS. There's always links available if you're just looking. There's ways to get to it, okay? But because of this, we have over 1,000 videos in this course now. It's massive. We have thousands of folks in there. And because of that, the price is going up. It's going way up, folks, because it's been a long time. Well, we've never raised the price on this thing, okay? In fact, we lowered it at one point. But I've been just pouring my heart into this thing for like close to a decade now. Just that one specific course. Obviously, what I'm doing here, been doing that for like 4 decades, coming up on 4 decades. So a lot of work. I've dedicated my whole life to it. That being said, it's going up to $685 on January the 1st, okay? $685. Oh, Eric, that's terrible. It's not. You know why? Because literally for you guys today, we've also discounted it yet another $100. So it's literally $199 today until January the 31st. We've had a lot of people take advantage of it. I would advise you to as well if, number one, you're wanting to get an Unstoppable Guitar System for the lifetime, and or you're paying the monthly cost and you're like, dude, I don't want to pay monthly anymore. I could have this done. I could have this just paid for like right now and just be done with it and have it lessons for life. That's number one. I won't keep talking about that because it's available for you. You're obviously privy to my emails and everything else. Emmy will probably post something. There she did. She's so good. Okay, number two. And this is kind of going forward and talking about the past here as well. You might have noticed that I've been having a lot more people on my shows. I'm feeling the edge of my neck right now, and I can feel my frets popping through. If you notice that during the winter months, it's because the wood on your guitar is shrinking just slightly enough to where you can actually feel. I can feel my frets right here. Sorry, I'm just noticing that, okay? Beautiful. Sai, thank you so much. Everybody else with all the love here, thank you so much. Listen to the folks that are in UGS. If you're on the fence about it, they will let you know. It's legit. It's amazing. It will change your musical life. Rob, you can buy it as a gift. You just have to use their email and... You just have to use their email and name instead of your email and name, or email support@yourguitarsage.com. We'll take care of you. If you want to do it as a gift, yeah, we have people doing that all the time, okay? Cool. All right, so you guys have noticed I've had a lot of amazing teachers on the show here, a lot of amazing players, Corey Congilio, RJ Ronquillo, and all the other Elios that are out there. Now, just those two. And then there's Robbie Calvo. We've had Jeff Duke. We're getting ready to do a course with Chip Henderson, jazz player extraordinaire. Actually, we did the course already. It's been edited. We're planning on that dropping in February. So anyhow, talking about this, I'm in a very unique position where I'm at right now. Because I've been doing this longer than some players who are doing this right now who are tremendous and they need to be in the spotlight. Because of that, because I've been doing it longer, I can help bolster and get them in the queue. And I think it's really important because they're really amazing players and amazing teachers. Some of them who I just mentioned to you and others who I have in a queue of amazing players coming up here. With that being said, I kind of feel like at this point, at this juncture, 2020 here, that it's my responsibility, if you will, because of the way the planets are aligning, for me to get these amazing players in front of you, to you, and try to make the best courses possible at prices that people can afford so that the whole world can be playing guitar. That's what these Udemy courses are all about. Udemy is just a website, and it's a place that, if you will, it's not the Unstoppable Guitar System, it's its own thing. It's kind of like paid YouTube, but the courses on there are amazing. And so, all that being said, I can take those students, we can produce the courses there, we can put them out, it's gonna benefit you, and here you go. The courses that we, the folks that we're working with, we are always going to discount these courses for you. You can go to Udemy and you can pay, full price or whatever. Sometimes they have sales there. In fact, they have sales there often. But we will always have a sales price. Always. Here's how you can go to get that. YourGuitarSage.com/Udemy. Here's what I want you to do. Type that in, or you'll see Emmy post that here in the chat here in just a minute. Go to that. Mike created a page specifically for that. This is going to be an ever-growing page. It's really, really uber important that you save that that you save that bookmark, because if you don't, then you're always going to be asking, well, how do I get to it? It's YourGuitarSage.com/Udemy. And you would go to that if you wanted other instruction outside of what I do for the specific courses that Robbie are doing, that we just did with Corey, the blues beginners and intermediate, okay? YourGuitarSage.com/Udemy. Take advantage of that. I'm not going to keep talking about it because I'm there. It's there for you, and I don't want to wear you out. I want to get to your questions, okay? You've been noticing I've been wearing a lot of hats lately. Why is that? Because I shaved my head, and that's why, because I shaved my head, and I'm not ready to reveal it yet. No, it's not true. I just haven't had a haircut in a really long time, and I'm probably growing it out. So the next time you see my hair, it's probably going to be like down here, like old school. All right, number 3, we got mega merch sale right now. We are literally selling t-shirts thanks to somebody who's no longer working with us. Their mistake is your advantage. We're selling our swag right now at cheaper than we paid for it. I swear to you, okay? These amazing hats, t-shirts, there's baby bibs, there's a lot of stuff there. The merch stuff, Em will put something in for that as well, okay? That's it. That's all I got for you, right? YourGuitarSage.com/Udemy are the gift ideas, okay? Let's get into some questions. While I'm waiting for your questions, please, if you would, Yul Brenner, all caps, question mark, okay? Ready for your questions. We will start now. Thank you so much, Marine Mama. Look, I've had good friends of mine, good, other teachers and what have you, and they say to me, hey, Erich, how's it going with answering those thousands and thousands of questions inside of your program? How does that make you feel? And they were saying it like, isn't that a pain in the butt for you? And my response is, it's fantastic. I love it. That's why I have it set up that way. I could be like other teaching sites where you don't get to ask questions. Most guitar teaching websites, you don't get to ask questions. They create the course, you freaking figure it out. That's fine. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. What I wanted to do is create a community where not only would I teach you this stuff, but then I would be there to guide you, to answer questions for you in real time. I do this every single day, okay, in all my courses. So why did I say all that? I don't know. There was a reason. But let's get to some questions here. It takes a while, and yes, it is a dedication. It does. I could be creating more content, but that's out there already. I'm pretty sure that what people want, because I know this is what I wanted, is I wanted someone to show me things step by step in an affordable manner where I'm not going to be messing up. And oh, if I do have a question, could you be available so that you'd fill in that one spot so that I can keep going? Sounds very logical to me. It's what I want, so that's what I create for my students, because either I'm crazy, which I might be a little bit, but when it comes to this, I know I'm right. Okay, joined pro in November, Lisa's saying, get off the fence if pondering incredible content, superior video quality, always addicting new stuff, etc. Treat yourself to go pro. Beautiful. Thank you, Lisa. Could you do more in-depth course about fingerstyle guitar in UGS? Oh, friends. I'm going to tell you something here right now. I'm very, 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 very excited. I think I can say this. He's in this, going to be in the studio here for 9 days in the next quarter here. Joe Robinson is going to be doing a 3-part fingerstyle course here at the studios that we're going to be doing. If you guys don't know who Joe Robinson is, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I don't feel at all like this is unrealistic. He might be the best fingerstyle guitarist in the world, definitely top 5. This guy is an absolute beast. He plays out with Tommy Emmanuel. That's one of his idols. He's a fantastic guitar player, great guy, great instructor. If you don't know who Joe Robinson is, just check him out. Okay, he's done TED Talks. He's literally a beast at fingerstyle guitar. And he and I have had an ongoing friendship here over the years, and I called him the other day and I said, Joe, let's do this. The world needs you. Please, let's do this. And he said, man, I'm in. So we're going to do a 3-part. It's going to be in Q1. So thank you for asking. Can I do an in-depth course about fingerstyle? I can, and I have lots of in-depth stuff inside of UGS. But if you've ever seen me play fingerstyle, which is good, but if you've ever seen Joe Robinson play fingerstyle, it's a whole nother level, okay? It's just a whole nother level. If you've ever gone out and bought a brand new, Toyota, okay, great. That might be me. I'm very excited when I go get a new Toyota. It's a brand new car, it looks good, it smells good. But then there's Teslas, and then there's Rolls-Royce and stuff like that, okay? When it comes to fingerstyle playing, I'm a brand new Toyota. Joe, on the other hand, is a brand new Rolls-Royce. He's a brand new Tesla. He's a beast. You got to check him out. I'd much rather him doing the course. And here's the other deal, is that for me to be able to do all these courses and to be doing live with you and to get to the questions and to build the jam tracks and to be doing all this stuff, managing a studio, there's no way, right? If I'm going to spend any time with my family or have private time or what have you. Speaking of private time, I've got 2 splinters in my fingers because I went out with my boy yesterday to the woods and we were using axes and having fun. So in order for me to spend some family time, I do have to get in other instructors. So we're doing that, okay? So yes, I could do it, but let's have Joe do it. A question, how to stop another string ringing out when you're bending? Okay, this is a great question. I get this all the time. Let's talk about it in detail. The short answer is you practice until it doesn't happen, but the devil's in the details, so we need to know some things, okay? Number 1, if your action is really low, that can be a problem. If it's too low, that can be a problem. Now, how will you know this, that it's too low? You really won't know this because inevitably what people do, especially the newer you are as a student, mindset-wise, the newer the student, the more they think the problem's with the guitar. As you start becoming a seasoned player, you start realizing, hey, I'm the guy in control of my fingers, not somebody else, not the guitar. I can work around this. So you start learning that. But in the beginning, everybody's blaming the guitar. Not to say that that can't be an issue. When we're bending, though, if your strings are way low, if they're too low, that can be an issue. Here's what I would do first before I would go adjusting your guitar. Don't do that yet. If you want to do that, if you're like, nah, I promise you there's a problem, take it to a guitar luthier. You don't do it yourself. You can, you're not gonna break anything, but you can throw some stuff off, and you don't have the knowledge that these other guys have, that they've spent years and years and years doing it, okay? Nothing against you. I know the cancel culture will have problems with me saying that they're not as good as the guitar luthier who's been doing this for 50 years, but you're not as good as the guitar luthier who's been doing it for his 50 years, okay? I just lost one guy. Okay, here we go. When you're bending, okay, when you're bending, the highest pitched strings, you should be bending up. The lowest pitched strings, you should be bending down. Basically, you want to bend into the center of the guitar. So if you're on this top string here, you don't want to be bending up because you're going to fall off the neck, okay? Same thing with these. Can't bend up. You can only bend down. And then these guys, bending up. So just think towards the center of the guitar you're bending the string. Okay, that said. Now, when I'm bending, now, it's not to say that sometimes I don't get a creeper, I don't get a string that will creep underneath my finger, and I'll hit it. But here's the deal. The string's not really creeping underneath there. I'm the guy who's not doing the proper technique. Really important to start there. Just stop the blaming. It's not your guitar, it's you. And it's easy to fix. So what you want to do is you want to be cognizant of, when you're bending this up, you want to be cognizant that you're not kind of creating a little ramp, if you will, for that string to go underneath, that other string, the unwanted string to go underneath, and now you're fretting it, okay? There's a few different things that you can do with that. Number one is don't leave a big space like underneath your finger where that string could slip in. You want to make sure that you're pressing that string down and that the finger is underneath the next string, or at least perpendicular to it. If it's over the string, then it's going to slip underneath there, okay? Not good. The other thing that you can do is usually we're bending with our third or fourth finger. I mean, you can bend with your second finger first. That's a bend with the first. I could bend with a second as well. But usually 3 and 4 is what we're using. 3 predominantly, then 4, then 2 and 1 in that order, okay? And so the other thing that you can do is you want to use your other fingers. Obviously, if you're bending with the third finger, you're not using the pinky, but the first and second you would use to kind of start moving those other strings out of the way. So that's what I do, is I've got these other fingers down here. I'm not really thinking about them, pushing them out of the way. It's just they're not down here. They're along with this guy here. Okay, so in short, what you want to do is you really want to observe. You want to look at what you're doing, do the bend nice and slow. Watch for that other string. If it's creeping underneath your finger, you know what to do. Push it out of the way with those other fingers and get this bending finger down towards the fretboard more. Don't leave a bunch of space open where a string can slip underneath there, okay? It really is a matter of observation, a matter of taking it slow. First catching what it is that you are doing incorrect, because you're definitely doing something incorrect as you're doing it. And it's different for everybody, but for the most part, it has to do with your letting that string slip underneath there, okay? Okay. All right, excellent. Oh, lots of questions coming in here, right? Am I right? Dang. Okay, here we go. I'm going to have to go backwards here. Vance, thank you. The lighting is always good. So good in your videos. Thank you, Mike. If that were up to me, Well, you could see my old videos. You'd see how those look. Is there a technique for it? This is why it's good to have a good team around you. Is there a technique for hitting the bass note first on a chord, or does that come with practice? Well, whenever you're hitting a chord with a pick from the lowest note to the highest note, you're hitting the lowest note first. That just happens automatically. Okay? All right? Not sure what you mean by that. Let me know. Is there a legit indicator that I need to upgrade my guitar instead of just wanting to? No, David. Good for you. Lucky for you. It's literally just wanting to. Yeah. There's no need to upgrade a guitar except that you want to. And what better reason than just wanting to? Okay? Yeah. I feel like in life, sometimes, depends on the personality, but sometimes we don't do what it is that we want to do. Oh, I gotta do this, or I need to do this. Start going after your wants, your desires. Like you were when you were a kid. You wonder why when you were a kid you were super happy, and now as an adult you're not as happy sometimes. People wonder that, you know. I think a lot of times is we give up on those things that we want, our desires, our dreams. Oh, it's too hard. I'm not gonna get to them, so it hurts. Don't do that. Go after them. If I'm in a bad mood, then I'm not able to focus on guitar. What should I do to get interest on guitar? If I'm in a bad mood, well, you can change your mood at any time, right? We know this. You're in control of that. So think differently. What do you feel is making you in a bad mood? Get away from that thing. I have boundaries with friends, with family, with media. I've got massive boundaries. I say massive, massive compared to the world. I have lots of boundaries. There's certain things I won't do just because I know that it's going to make me upset. You know what I mean? So I just don't do it. Get away from that stuff. What should you do to get interest on guitar? Surround yourself. Look, friends, this is a life lesson for everything. Surround yourself with only people who are uplifting you, whether that's on the guitar, whether that's about life, whether that's about everything going on in the world. Hang out with people who are positive. Hang out with people who have hope. Dear God, hang out with people who have hope, okay? And as far as guitar, you know, same thing. Be listening to things that inspire you. Be listening to bands that inspire you, guitar players. Watch videos that inspire you. I was listening to the Motels this weekend, that band from the 80s. They weren't huge, but they had a few great hits. And that just moved me so much to want to pick up the guitar and start, you know, playing some of the chords that I was hearing there, okay? Okay, I've been a pro member for 2 years. I'm super happy with my progress. Good. Just started with Corey's blues course. Never stop learning and improving. Never stop learning, because as soon as you think that you know enough, man, that means there's just a slew of other things that you don't know that are available for you. And when you do that, life is so much more fun when you're learning new things. If you think you know everything, it's boring. You're going to get old, and well, old is as old does. You're going to get cranky, okay? So if you're learning all the time, you're going to be in a much better place. Oh, thank you, Sonny. Thank you for the bottom of my heart. You are my teacher, and I learned the guitar so much more. With your course, you are the best. You made quarantine bearable. Oh, thank you, Sonny. Super kind, bud. Sai has been playing for a few years, learned many songs thanks to my delving into improv. Good. I'm pretty good at soloing in minor and major pentatonic in all 5 positions over backing tracks. Next steps. Sai, just from that little bit that you told me there, I would say that you are obviously you like lead guitar, pentatonic scales, you're working with backing tracks, so improvisation. You've mentioned 3 things right there that let me know that you are really into improvising lead work, okay? So here's what you want to do, Sai, to improve that, is you want to start questioning why it is that certain licks sound good over certain other licks, okay? I started off with this fun little thing here in the beginning, right? Which, by the way, is a tune that I had written many years ago with a buddy. So this is in D minor. So I know that right off the bat, I could use pentatonic, right? I could use pentatonic, I could use any form of the pentatonic, I could use minor, what have you. But specifically, I'm thinking shapes of the chord, right? So so what I'm doing is I'm thinking D minor there, and I'm really dancing around the notes of the chord. If you and I were having a conversation, it would be very important for us to volley. So I'm like, hey, what do you think about Jimi Hendrix? And then you're like, oh man, I love Jimi Hendrix, but I'll tell you who I'm really into right now is Stevie Ray Vaughan. You hit the ball back to me, and I'm like, Stevie Ray Vaughan's a beast. Let's talk about Stevie, you know? And we do this with conversations. You do it constantly all day long. We all do, right? Someone asks you, how you doing? You don't say, I'll have a sandwich, please. You say, I'm doing great, or I'm not doing well, or whatever it is that you say to that question, right? We do this all day long. So we want to do the same thing with music. Music is all about ebb and flow, yin and yang. It's about tension and release. And if you don't have the one, you don't have the other. You just don't have it. Okay? Just like any good story has that tension, that great tension, and then there's the win in the end, usually. You know what I mean? So much so that over the years, people have started changing the endings to stories to make them not end good because they're so predictable, right? So we've seen that model so many times that people have changed the ending. And people say, oh, I don't like the ending. It was a sad ending. It's like, yeah, because everybody knows that the ending would be happy. So we constantly have this ebb and flow when it comes to music, when it comes to movies, when it comes to conversations. And when we're playing music, everything else that's happening is important. Okay, so the band slightly speeds up, then you obviously will want to slightly speed up or you're going to sound like you're out. If the band changes keys, you're going to need to change keys with them. If they start swinging the beat, right, as opposed to straight, then you're going to need to start swinging some of your notes in order to fit in with them. If they start settling down and getting quiet, you need to do that. If they start getting more intense, you need to do that. Otherwise, it's going to sound like you're not part of the conversation. So, listening more, and also theory-wise, knowing, and we don't even have to say theory-wise, just being cognizant of what the other players are playing. Same thing. It's just that the word theory scares people. Oh, theory, it's so scary. Addition and numbers and it's scary. And so it doesn't need to be. It's very simple. But knowing what the chords are that are being played, if that's a D minor chord, then I know that I could dance all around that chord. It's the chord. Can't mess up if you're just playing the chord tones. But then you do little things like you slide into a note that's not in the scale. And it makes it sound pretty cool because it adds a little tension. As opposed to boring, right? This is much nicer. So it's learning little techniques like that that I teach you throughout the program and what have you, and then just adding that. That's going to help a lot, giving what you're doing already to really give it some love, you know, give it some what I call sauce. Okay, so Roger's asking, Eric, help. I'm flounder on time distribution, how I spend what you recommend about the usage between 365, UGS, and practicing songs. Okay, Roger, everybody who's listening, because this is for you, if you have a head, and you can hear me right now, this message is for you. Someone just asked, is there a legitimate reason why I would want to buy a guitar other than want? I mean, sure, if the neck is broken, right? But like, otherwise, it's just want, and there's nothing wrong with that. Roger, for you, why is it that we are attracted to a mate? Is it because we're like, well, I've done all the calculations, and it makes perfect sense. Now, I'm completely unattracted to her, but it makes sense on paper, right? There's some people that do that, don't know where the voice came from, but there's some people that do this. So you want to start thinking more creatively, more like, hey, this is something I want. I want that gal. I want that guy, whatever it is that you want. Same thing here. It's like, well, do you want to spend time with songs? Is that what makes you happy? Spend more time with songs. 365, I doubt that you're going to be spending the majority of your time in 365, because 365 it's a job. It's a job to do. But just like any job, just like any challenge, you get something out of it, right? You got a donut and you got some kale. What's the choice there? Duh, our taste buds are gonna say donut, right? But our body's gonna say kale. There's a reward for doing that. Life is all this, right? It's this constant balance of, yeah, but I want this. Yeah, but this is gonna make me feel better. Is this gonna help? 365 are those exercises that challenge you, right? I've talked about this. You guys don't know what it is. 7 days of the week, 7 different focuses like finger picking, economy picking, alternate picking, those sorts of things each day. Starts off on week 1. We graduate over 52 weeks. You can start off as a baby beginner at the beginning, no problem. And then by the end of that year, you're going to be in beast mode over 7 different focuses, okay? That's what 365 is all about. You get that with the Unstoppable Guitar System for the $199 thing today until January the 1st. Now, what I say with 365 is just do one every day, challenge yourself. That's your workout. That's your penance, if you will, for getting to areas that you're not at yet. Do that for whatever length of time, 5 minutes, 5 hours, that's up to you. Do something that is not going to make you just want to end it all, okay? UGS, the Unstoppable Guitar System, is, if you will, if you had nearly an unlimited amount of time with me personally that you could learn guitar, you'd be like, Eric, I'm really wanting to learn bar chords. Can you help me out? That's what UGS is about. It's your one-stop shop for coming to learn about the guitar. Eric, I really want to learn blues. I want to improvise in blues. How can I do that? The Unstoppable Guitar System. Eric, I want to learn swing guitar. I want to learn gypsy jazz. How do I do that? The Unstoppable Guitar System. That's where you would go to do those things. 365 is more of a workout every day. And then at the end of the day, you could do all of UGS, you could do all of 365. You're going to learn a ton of stuff that are the bits and pieces that go into songs. At the end of the day, if you never touch those 2 things and you just learned songs, you will at least have the end result. So you just learn a song by tab, note for note. Now you step on stage, you can play the song. And you didn't go to 365, you didn't do UGS, but you played the song. But if someone says, hey, what's going on there? Or, hey, can you do that with this song or whatever? You probably won't have the know-how to do that, okay? Just learning songs. So they're all part and parcel. Really important. Be like if I was a surgeon and I'm like, hey, how important is anatomy? Well, it's important. How important is keeping your knives sharp? Very important. How important is keeping your hands clean? Very important. How about showing up on time? Important. Like, all those things are important. They're all required. So, Roger, spend the time that you want in each one of those areas to the capacity that you want to do that. Now, I spent a little extra time on that one because I know a lot of folks are into that. I have another video on YouTube if you search 365 UGS, and I talk about it more in detail, but probably not much more than what you just heard there. Okay, so really go after what it is that you like. You're going to be playing a lot longer if you do that, okay? Ah, thank you, Marine Mama. Yeah, $199. It is a steal, especially it's going up to $685. Eric, could you take a few minutes to discuss the process of string selection? Yes, I'll do it, Stephen. So with acoustic guitars, you have acoustic strings, you have electric strings, and nylon guitars, you have nylon strings. This is a 30,000-foot view. We won't go into all the details, obviously, about strings. So you got those three basic categories there, right? You have round wound, and then you have straight up strings where you have the edge there, which makes that sound that many guitar players don't like, or beginner guitar players don't like. The rest of us were like, it's a guitar. That's the sound it makes. Not a big deal. Anyhow, those are the basic types of strings you have. You have the different variables, so like nickel or bronze, usually bronze on acoustic guitars. That's why they look kind of bronzish, as opposed to nickel, and then they look kind of silverish or nickel, right? So you have those three basic different categories. The thickness of the strings determines on how easy it is to bend, how easy it is to press the strings, what kind of tone you might get from the guitar, those sorts of things. How much resistance, how much you want to fight the strings. If you play 8 hours a day, you may want thicker strings. You may not. You know, there are plenty of guitar players who've played for even longer than I have that play with strings that are even thinner than what I play with. I just recently bumped down a set. So on my Strats, I'm using eights. I think eights. Yeah. Weird. I haven't done that until recently here. And then nines, I think, on my Gibsons because of the string length. Okay. Now you won't know what it is that you should be using, and really, it's truly a matter of it's a subjective issue. Try different things because you're going to know. Again, feel. What do you like? So I could tell you to do one thing and it may not work for you. If I say, man, check this gal out over here. She's beautiful. And you'd be like, yeah, no, thank you. So what does it matter what I think, right? Different tastes. So strings, Stevie Ray Vaughan played 12. He was not a shabby guitar player whatsoever. Billy Gibbons is an amazing blues player. He plays with eights, okay? Maybe even sevens now on some guitars. So again, we're talking both amazing players. B.B. King uses thinner strings. So what is it that you like? And a lot of people, they think, oh, and I've been guilty of this. A lot of guitar players are. I still hear them talk about it. Oh, the thicker the string, oh, that's where you get that tone. BS. BS. I don't care what anybody says. You can write an article that's takes me an hour to read. I don't care what it says. At the end of the day, what does it sound like? Okay? You can talk about what love and what chocolate, what love feels like, what chocolate tastes like. You can write a big old article on it, but at the end of the day, you're not going to know what it is until you experience it. So get some strings, try some different things, experiment. It's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, I don't think you're going to hear a vast difference in the gauge of the strings or the brand of the strings. Now, what does make a difference is how old are the strings? Do you have acoustic strings on an electric guitar? Not good. Those sorts of things, vice versa. Don't ever put steel strings on a nylon string guitar. You will very likely will break your guitar. Other than that, you know, it's what does it sound like to you? And more, what does it feel like? Because changing the gauge of your strings definitely is going to change the feel of it way more than you're ever going to hear. Okay? So that's all I got to say about that. Bonnie, thank you. UGS Pro is amazing, and the price is so amazing. Get in there now while you can. Beautiful. Yeah, because it literally is going to end on 12. Well, it's not going to end, but the price is going way up. So if you see, for me, like if I could spend $685 on something or $199, I'm weird, but I'm the guy who would do the $199. I just like saving money, me personally. But I'm a weirdo. I have so much trouble phrasing. Are there tabs as a guide? Luana, yes, there are tabs. I mean, if you're learning to play Stairway to Heaven, there are tabs for that, but tabs in and of itself aren't going to help you with phrasing. Phrasing has to do with understanding the relationship of the notes. So obviously the first place we want to start is, are we in the right key? If you're not in the right key, forget about anything that you're playing. The phrasing is going to be terrible. Terrible. You just can't play in a different key. It's just not going to work. Okay, it's going to sound terrible. Marine Mama, thank you. Thank you for 2020. Thank you for all you do and the time you give us during the lockdown. Saved many of us. Oh, thank you so much, Marine Mama 62. So kind, and you've given so much over the months here. Super, super sweet. Thank you. Okay, so where was I going? Lost my train of thought. Oh, phrasing. It has to do with everything that I said there. Understanding what's happening. This chord's being played. How can you emphasize that chord? By playing the notes of the chord. That sort of thing. So knowing your arpeggios is good. Knowing what chord's being played is good. Accenting those notes. I wish there was a sentence or even 5 minutes or even a half hour I could explain this, and it would just make you go to the guitar and do it. It's the idea, but then you need to fulfill that with things like learning call and response, like I talk about in the program, chasing the chord, like all these different bits and pieces that I'm always referring to, okay? Thank you, Linda. Yeah, I love answering the questions. D. Buster is saying, how do I change from monthly to a one-time purchase? D. Buster, here's what you want to do, is take advantage of the $199 offer right now, then email support@YourGuitarSage.com, and we will, number one, we'll stop the payments, and then, of course, if it just started or whatever, we will refund you for the month, okay? All right. Okay, super good stuff. Great stuff. Man, you guys are on it today. What is a good practice routine? Nate Dogs is saying. Nate Dogs, it truly depends on what it is that you want to do. Friends, if you haven't got into UGS already, if you go through the first section, which I give free to everybody, we've had 500,000 people go through this. Massively has changed their lives because literally those videos are the cornerstone, the quintessential, the most important, the most essential videos that any guitar player in any genre would ever need to do. And it's not just my style of doing it, it's what you learn if you're gonna do it right. If you're gonna build a foundation, that's what you go through. And I give that to you for free, YourGuitarSage.com/30. The reason I mention that is I think it's the very last video, but one of those videos in there talks about, dear God, now I need to check it. I'm 99% sure it's in there, but it's talking about your why. What is your why? Why is it that you wanna play guitar? For one person, it's going to be talking to Pat Buchanan the other day, insane studio player, right? And talking to him about playing guitar and why it is that he started playing guitar is entirely different than somebody else who I might speak to and somebody else who I might speak to. One guy's going to be like, I only want to finger pick, only acoustic guitar, just want to play for myself. There's another person who's like, I want to pick, I want to finger pick, I want to play slide, I want to play electric, I want to play acoustic, I want to play nylon string, I want to read music, I want to play in the studio, I want to play live, I want to do everything. A lot of the cats that I have on here, you know, RJ and Robbie, Corey, I mean, a lot of these, even Joe Robinson, even though you see him on acoustic mainly, he's an electric player as well. A lot of these guys, they want to do everything because we live in Nashville and that's kind of the name of the game. You want to be able to do lots of things. If you want to work, you need to be able to play a wedding and then a session, and then you need to teach a few lessons, and then you need to be able to chart stuff and what have you. That's the people that survive are the people that are diverse, okay? So it really, truly depends on what it is that you want to do. Answer that question first. If you can't answer that question, you're not going to know. I can't answer that question for you if you don't know where it is that you want to go. So make sure you answer that question first, because it's just like getting on a ship and being like, when are we going to get there? And we're like, now where are you going? And you're like, I don't really know. Well, that's going to be hard for me to determine when it is you're going to get there if we don't even know what direction we're going. So you got to have a direction. Then we can say, okay, this is the path you want to go. So if you let me know, all caps with a question mark, that'll help. Okay? Eric, how to do palm muting and normal muting correctly? Well, palm muting is the idea where we want to so the idea here is for the most part, when you're muting, you're palm muting, okay? So you've got the picking hand. I'm laying it right here on the bridge of the guitar, right where the strings meet the bridge, okay? Now, depending on where I'm at, I just pull back that gain a little bit. If I'm further back, it's going to be more open. If I start moving towards the strings, it starts closing up. And it's a subtle movement. It's really, really subtle, okay? So that's palm muting. I have videos on this on YouTube. Search YourGuitarSage muting for the more descriptive versions of this, okay? As far as muting with the left hand, you're just literally laying your hand. I always tell my students, you want to think about it like a wet sponge, just laying on the strings as light as possible. Just laying a sponge on the strings. You want to get that sound. If you're getting this sound, then you're fretting something, or you got it open. So all strings need to be touched very, very lightly, okay? Good. Good. Thank you so much, Sai. Amazing tone and great advice. Dear Lord Rob, coming in hot, $100, buddy. Thank you, Rob. Rob's been given to us for some time here, and he's a great man. He's been spreading the word of UGS and everything else. Rob, thank you. Happy Solstice to you, my friend. We celebrated. We are once again moving towards the light. Brother, I swear to God, I want to start a whole channel about this. And I might do it in 2021 because I feel like there's a need. But we are moving towards the light. I'll tell you what that means in a minute for those of you that are like, what the F are you talking about? And you and your team have provided a small beacon of light during and through the darkness of this past year. Thank you. May we all shine in 2021 and beyond. Indeed. I'm going to say something that some people are going to be like, I have no idea what you're talking about. The other people are going to like, you're a crazy man. And the other people are going to get what I'm talking about. So this is for the people that get it. Don't be fearful. Okay? There's a lot of things going on. And this is going to be so generic that I say this. For those of you that have ears, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But there's a lot of fear being thrown out there right now. There's a lot of things used to create fear. And you're like, but what are you talking about? There was a bombing in Nashville. What are you talking about? There was this and that and the other thing. Those are the things that I'm talking about, friends. We've been here for a long, long time. A lot more than even 10,000 years that people say. We've been here a very, very, very long time. And there's obviously an end, right? There's an end to this eventually, right? Just like there is to anything. But I don't suspect we're anything near that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what I think. What does matter is us, me, you, Mike, everybody, raising our vibration. I'll explain that in a minute. Our lightness as much as possible, because it's the only way to extinguish the dark, which is very obvious. And if you at all think, if you're looking around saying that's not going on, then okay. But for the other 99.9% of us, there is something else that's going on, and I can tell you it has everything to do with fear. And if you don't fear, you won already, okay? And that's honestly about all I know. I know, not much to hang your hat on, but that's how it goes, right? It's faith. We're having faith. We're trusting, and but part of that has to do. Sometimes you got to stand up and fight. Sometimes. And I suppose we'll know what that is, when that is, should that time come. In the meantime, how do you raise your vibration? By hanging out with your kids, hanging out with your family, turning off the GD news, turning off the GD media, turning off Twitter, turning off Instagram, turning off Facebook. By the way, if you notice that on some of these platforms I'm talking less, it's because I've taken it off many of my devices. I have one dedicated device. So because of their new privacy policies, not into them. I'm not going to get into the politics of that. You research it on your own. Not fearful, just don't like it whatsoever. Don't like anything that they're doing. Name them, and I don't like them unless it's like any of these new ones like Parler, MeWe, any of these ones that aren't tracking, that aren't nefarious, that aren't doing those things. I'm down with those social media, but I hold them lightly too, because I'm dedicated to no man. I'm not following any man or system. Question always, do you do one-on-one lessons, or probably not, because it would be overwhelming for you? Nate Doggs, I do, but it's very, very expensive, $300 an hour, and there's just no need to do it because everything that's in the UGS, I mean, literally, spend 1 hour with me, you'll spend $300, or spend $199 and have a lifetime of lessons with me with 3 hours of live every single month. What? But I didn't know you include that, Eric. Now you do. I go live for 3 hours every month, not including an introductory hour of into the course. So really 4 hours with you. 1 for the course, 3 hours for actual legitimate guitar questions like we're doing here, okay? Okay, cool. I do that every month. So definitely gonna help you way more if you just got in the program than one-on-one lessons with me. But I do them. I love this, Eric. I just wanted to do UGS for years and finally got it during COVID. UGS has helped me discover the music inside of me. Yeah, I've been seeing that more and more lately because we've had a lot of people getting inside the program. Linda's saying, when your fingers feel like sausage, how do you deal with stage fright, public speaking fright? Dennis is saying. Dennis, great question. So understand this, that fear, what is it that the definition they say is, what is the definition? Fear is evidence, oh shoot, it'll come to me. Do you know, Mike, off the top of your head? That, you know what I'm talking about? The acronym for fear?
False evidence appearing real.
Thank you. False evidence appearing real. I love that. False evidence appearing real. This is so right now. This is so right now that you guys really need to embrace this, not just for guitar, but for everything in life. Fear is literally something that goes on in your head. I know this because I'm a recovering addict of it. Literally, there have been times where I'm not going to get into it all right now, but nonetheless, there have been times where I would create things going on in my head. We all do this, by the way. And then I've gotten to a place now to where I literally can disassemble different fears like that. And it's so liberating because then you see the Oz behind the curtain and it's not scary anymore, okay? And this goes right in line with what I'm talking about here with public speaking, doing live shows, getting up on stage, whatever. There are techniques. There are things that you can do. Number one, with repetition, you realize, okay, man, I spoke the other day. They didn't shoot me. They didn't throw tomatoes at me or beat me up or laugh. My pants didn't fall down. Like, everything was fine. I was nervous, but turns out that my nervousness had nothing to do with what I was doing. And you tell yourself this enough times that eventually you're going to get it. So you can go the long road, which is totally fine and acceptable. That's how I did it. Or you can go the short road, which is infusing yourself with that positive energy, with practice, with and understanding what's happening when you're performing, okay? When you're performing, you don't have control. You could break a string, your pants could fall down, you could forget a chord, you could forget a song, you could forget a lyric, your guitar could go out of tune. I've had all those things happen. It's not a big deal, okay? It's not a big deal. And I think the second you realize it's not a big deal, you just did away with the boogeyman. It doesn't exist. It only exists in your head. When you can do away with that, the stage fright will go away. practicing a lot is a good thing, because here's the deal. If you got a gig this Friday, it's Tuesday, it's Monday. If you got a gig coming up this Friday and you are not prepared, then guess what? You are probably not going to do well. And then should you fear? No, I wouldn't. I'd just go up and have a shitty performance. And that's it. Because no amount of fear is going to help you. You're just going to not do well. You're going to do what was expected, what you expected yourself to do, because you didn't practice enough. That is a huge variable that should not go unnoticed, okay, and unattended to. If you can practice a whole bunch, then that's what dress rehearsal is all about. It's like, guys, we've practiced our asses off here. Dress rehearsal's tomorrow night. Dress rehearsal's like, here we go, man. If you mess up, you just got to keep going. And that's also something to practice, okay? So there are things you can do as far as your hands, hurting or whatever. Running them under warm water is always a good thing to do. For me, I hate alcohol. I just don't like it at all. But for me, I will have a beer before I go on stage, or a shot. It's just me. If you have a problem with alcohol or addiction or something like that, obviously don't do that. But it works for me, because especially since I never do it, it really calms me down. I'm like, what up? It's totally fine. And I get up on stage and I'm good. So once the first song starts and I'm playing, I'm usually pretty good. It's just like beforehand, you get a little bit nervous. And it's all up in our heads. It really, really is all up in our heads, okay? Okay. Hey, Clint is here. Hey, what's up, Clint? 6 String Stories. Friends, if you see that little bit there, 6 String Stories, see a 6, and it's black and white icon there. Check out Clint and 6 String Stories. He has amazing stories about folks here in Nashville who play guitar, studio players, live players, all, and he does it with finesse. He's great at what he does. Eventually we'll recruit him here at UGS. It'll happen. Okay, Eric, do you play any solos without picks? I do. Sultans of Swing is without a pick, right? It's all that sort of thing. Jeez, I'm not practiced up right now, but there you go. Yeah, I do when it's required. Hey, Eric, Craig from the UK here. Quick question, which pickup position and why? I usually am in position 4. Now, that's on a standard, like on a Strat today, on a newer Strat. The Strats from the 60s had a 3-way spot, a 3-way switch, so you had to kind of finagle it between 3 and 5, well, between 2 and 3 to make that 4th position. So it just isn't there. It's not like it clicks and goes there. You have to just kind of, like, you can see this is 1, 2, 3. There's not a 4th and 5th position. So what I have to do is I have to find 2 and 3. And the second it changes, I know I'm there. Make sense? Emmy's saying, as your brand person, I support a second channel for this. I know. I know. Emmy's like, stop. But I will do that. And then folks that don't want to listen to that, they don't have to. And then everybody happy. I'm picking up a guitar again after many years. I wasn't more than a rhythm guy. I do want to learn some lead. Can't see myself in a band. Just want to learn, think my why is big enough to sustain me, ? Oh, I wish there was a question there. Just want to learn, think my why is big enough to sustain me? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Do I think it's big enough? I wasn't more than a rhythm guy. Well, so a couple things about the way you're wording that. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but picking guitar again after many years. Why'd you put it down? I wasn't more than a rhythm guy. That sounds like you're degrading yourself a little bit, because good rhythm guitar players are hard to come by. Like, they're just really good rhythm players. I do want to learn some lead. Good, you want to. So that's good. That's, yep, plenty of room there. Can't see myself in a band. You could be if you want to. If you don't want to be in a band, that's great. That's a good answer. But if you don't see yourself being in a band, that may be a little bit of a psychological thing you're holding yourself back with. So do I think there's enough there? Yeah, definitely. Definitely plenty to do there, okay? Okay. Oh, man, someone got deleted here. Okay. Is there an easy way to transition from playing acoustic to electric? I'm still struggling a little bit, but still determined. It's like driving a race car and a luxury car. If you're driving the sports car, you're not driving the luxury car, so you don't have a good feel for that. If you're driving the luxury car, you don't have a good feel for the sports car. Drive whatever vehicle it is that you want to get good at. So the transition is you pick up that guitar. If you're struggling a little bit with the electric, play the electric. Just play the electric for a bit, okay? Yes. Yeah. Okay, Eric, love the content. Oh, I got more to tell you guys. Hang in there. I got more to tell you here after this question here. Hey, Eric, love the content and already taking advantage of your free course. Question, I'm taking the path of a singer-songwriter, which is what I'm going to tell you real quick, is that Melissa, my beautiful wife and hit songwriter, is going to be in the studio in January. We are going to be finally creating that songwriting course for you guys. And the book is done already, so the book will drop at the same time, okay? Good stuff. She also wrote a children's book. I'll tell you more about that at another time, not right now. Question, I'm taking the path of singer-songwriter in blues, soul, similar to Sean James. What should I focus on? You should focus on songwriting. Focus on songwriting. Focus on melody. Focus on lyrics. Focus on blues. This is the things you want to do. You want to be a singer-songwriter playing blues, soul. Listen to blues music. Listen to soul music. Practice your singing. Practice your songwriting. Study other songs, study singing, get a daggone singing course, friend. Do it. Brett Manning is one of the best, a buddy of mine, singing success. Do it. Linda's saying, armor, dude, armor. I agree. Armor, yes. Kevin saying, can you briefly talk about amps and terms such as heads, cabinets? Kevin, that's really generic. That's a real generic thing. So I'm going to need more legs on that question, if you will. Talk about amps in terms of heads and cabinets. Otherwise, I can answer what basic idea there is. An amp head is just the power portion of it. If you have the head and you show up at practice, you're not going to hear anything because you need a cabinet. If you show up at the rehearsal with just the cabinet, you're not going to hear anything. You need the head and the cabinet, unless you have a combo amp like this one down here, where everything's built into it. Many amps that you just carry one thing, and it goes, it has a speaker in it, is a combo. But if it's like a Marshall head or a Mesa Boogie head or something, that's just the power portion of it, okay? Everything you want is on the other side of your fear. Indeed, Gary Schultz. And let that one sink in, man. It is absolutely true, and it is magical. And even when I am not living that way, I absolutely know it as a truth. And I just know, daggone it, I got it. I mean, right now for me, it's getting back up at 5 a.m., 4 a.m. like I was doing. Am I fearful of it? Kind of. I mean, and I know darn well nothing's going to happen, right? Cold showers. I take these super cold showers when I'm not as fearful to do it. But I know I'm not going to die. None of us are going to die. But there's a mechanism that kicks in about getting up early, about taking a cold shower, about working out, that there's a little bit of a fear there for folks. And whatever you want to call it, it's holding you back. So a rose by any other name is still a rose. So you call it whatever you want. You still ain't doing it. Or are you? I'm stuck on learning to get better. I don't know where to start. I just want to play at my church. Any advice for me? Get in some sort of course. Get in some sort of program where every day you're chipping away. I'm really wanting to get back into calisthenics, and I just bought a course specifically on how to do push-up, handstand push-ups and all that stuff, and balancing and all that. How else would I learn it? I mean, I suppose I could come to it organically, but I'd have to spend a lot of time just doing it organically. So it's good to have a course, have some sort of course of action or a book or something, whether that's me or somebody else. If you haven't already, start at YourGuitarSage.com/30. I hand that out to you for free. It's 30-something lessons that any guitar player would have to look at before getting on to other stuff, okay?
Do a couple more.
What's that?
Couple more.
Yeah, just a few more here. Yeah, we're going to head on out here, friends. I don't know the PV Rage 158, my friend. I don't know it. Thank you, Brazil. Appreciate that. Yes. Nope. No fear. All right, let me get just a couple others here. Is the Kemper a combo? The Kemper is not a combo. No. It's a head and cab. And in some cases, it's just the processor. Then you need a guitar amp and you need a cabinet. In the case of mine that I bought, it has a built-in amp in it, but not the built-in speaker. And I don't think they have one, so. Kevin, the advantages to those is that, with a combo, it's just one and done, and you can move it along. But, you may not like the speaker, so you'd have to change out the speaker, or you'd use a different cabinet when you're talking about a head. You know what I mean? Oh, what's next in the metal riffs? Def Leppard. We're talking about, we just literally was playing those tunes today, so be looking out for that one. It's coming out soon, What time do you go to bed to wake up so early? Well, when I was waking up at 3:55. I was going to bed at no later than 10. It was when I was falling asleep. But usually I go to bed at 9 o'clock and hopefully be asleep before 10 o'clock because that's not a ton of time. What was that, 6 hours? I find that I work best with about 6 to 6.5 hours of sleep. That's what I work best with. Depriving myself just a little bit. Okay. One last one. Before we do this one last one, guys, really quick, if you're paying monthly in UGS and you want to be done and have lifetime of lessons, or if you've always wanted to get in and you're like, I ain't spending $685, because that's what we did a lot. It took a long time to come up with that price, probably about a year of thinking about that. We were talking about it. It was in talks. And anyhow, $685 is what it is going up to, the lifetime membership of UGS. You can get it for way less than that. I forgot how much percent off, but it's more than a third off. It's $199 right now until 12/31 midnight. It's going away. Okay, it will not ever be that price again from everything that I'm believing. Okay. So if you want that now, take advantage of that. YourGuitarSage.com/something. You'll see it. Emmy will post it. Okay. She just did. Okay. Thank you. Udemy Courses. We're doing all these courses with all of these teachers. You love them. You know them. They're famous dudes. They're amazing players. And we're doing these co-op courses with them, but we're putting them in Udemy so that they can have their own traction, have their own channel, everything else. We're just working with them. That sort of thing. YourGuitarSage.com/Udemy. If you have all my courses and you want to check out some of the other courses that we built that are boss, check them out. Mega merch sale right now in the store. If you go to YourGuitarSage.com, go to the store. We're literally selling t-shirts for less than what we paid for them. Ooh, that hurts, but it's true. Okay. And then let's get to one last question here, friends. Yeah, this cap is in there. Isn't it slick? This is embroidered, by the way. It's super slick, shiny. Okay. Okay, one last question, and then we're gonna be out. Oh, hold on, we got to get a good one here. Not that the other ones are not good. It just needs to be. When is, Gerald, when's the next Zoom meeting? I don't get the emails. Gerald, it's because you are is unsubscribing to our list. So don't unsubscribe. When is the next Zoom meeting, Mike? Do you know? Do we have it scheduled?
That's my list to talk about today.
Okay, we'll talk about that today. We don't know yet, Gerald, but if you're in the community, you'll find out there too. You can always email support@YourGuitarSage.com and ask them to unsubscribe you, or yeah, that's pretty much the only way that you can do it if you're unsubscribed. Okay. The Udemy lessons are lifetime. You have them for lifetime. Are they part of UGS? No, they're not. There's a few of them are. The RJ courses and the Robbie Calvo are, but not Corey, and not after that, because there's reasons I would get into it, but can't right now. Okay, friends. Well, Gerald, if you said you did not, there's only one. I mean, if you're registering and you're putting in the proper email, it's just a computer that sends out an email. So it's either you put in the email wrong, or you unsubscribed, or it's going into your junk, because we send emails out. We send millions of emails out every month, and with lots of success. So it's one of those versions. So either look in your junk, make sure you got the right email, or don't unsubscribe, because it's not going to come to you. We specifically have a thing on there for people to unsubscribe, and if you hit that, you will not get them because you're unsubscribed. All right, my friends, love you so much. We're out of here. Listen, I'll say this. Emmy's cringing right now, but the next month is going to be a little bit squirrely, I believe. Listen to my words right now, and do not fear. Just don't fear. There is zero use in fear. Zero. Even if you're getting ready to be eaten by a bear. Run away from the bear, fine. Somebody mentioned a great white shark. Great white shark's getting ready to eat you. The fear isn't going to help you. Swimming away from the shark is going to help you. Try to capture this in your body if you're while it's happening, and just say, take a nice deep breath in and say, I'm not going to fear. Say it over and over again. Say whatever it is that you need to do. Meditate. Be surrounded by people who are hopeful. All the rest. It's important for you to do this right now, friends. Not just for yourself, but for the rest of the world. Because I need you. I need you. You need me. We all need each other, and we all need to raise that vibration. We need to be kinder to each other. It's going to get a little squirrely here in the next month. I just know it is. We all know it is. If you don't, then just whatever. Ignore crazy old man. But be hopeful. Don't fear. Okay? Next time I'll see you will be in January.